Now, let's look at Proverbs chapter 1. The proverb of Shelomoh, son of Dawid, sovereign of Yisra'ЄL, for knowing wisdom and discipline, for understanding the words of understanding, for receiving the discipline of wisdom, righteousness, right rulings, and straightness, for giving insight to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel, for understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. My son, heed the discipline of your father, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother, for they are a fair wreath on your head and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in. If they say, "Come with us, let us lie down, wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and entirely like those going down to the pit. Let us find all precious goods. Let us fill our houses with spoils. Let us cast in our lots among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the ways with them. Keep your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed blood, for in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush their own lives. Such are the ways of everyone greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the broad places. At the head of the noisy street, she cries out. At the opening of the gates, in the city, she speaks her words. How long, you simple ones, would you love simplicity? And shall scoffers delight in your scoffings, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my reproof. See, I pour out my spirit, my ruach, upon you. I make my words known to you, because I called, and you refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no one inclined. And you spurned all my counsel, and would not yield my reproof. Let me also laugh at your calamities. Mock when your dread comes. When your dread comes like a storm, and your calamities come like a whirlwind. When distresses and anguish come upon you, let them that call upon me. But I answer not. Let them not seek my face, but not find me, because they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They did not accept my counsel. They did not despise all my reproof. Therefore let them eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own counsels. For the turning away of the simple kills them, and the complacency of fools destroys them. But whoever listens to me dwells safely, and is at ease from the dread of evil.
That with my finger.
Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you accept my words and treasure up my commands with you, so that you make your ear attend to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. For if you cry for discernment, lift up your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver and search for her as hidden treasures, then you would understand and fear of Yahweh, and find the knowledge of Elohim, for Yahweh gives wisdom. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding, and his treasures up stability for the straight. And shield those walking blamelessly, to watch over the paths of right ruling, and the way of his loving committed ones he guards. Then you would understand righteousness, and right ruling and straightness, every good path, for wisdom would enter your heart, and knowledge be pleasant to your being. Discretion would guard you, understanding would watch over you, to deliver you from the evil way, from the man who speaks perversities, those who leave the paths of straightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil. They delight in perversities of evil, whose paths are crooked, and they are perverted in their ways, to deliver you from the strange woman, and from the foreigner who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and has forgotten the covenant of her Elohim. For her house has sunk down to death, and her paths to the dead. None going to her does return, nor do they reach the paths of life. So walk in the way of goodness, and guard the paths of righteousness, for the straight shall dwell in the earth, and the perfect be left in it. But the wrong shall be cut off from the earth, and the treacherous one plucked out of it. Proverbs chapter 3. My son, do not forget my Torah, and let your heart watch over my commands, for length of days and long life and peace they add to you. Let not loving commitment and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your hearts, thus finding favor and good insight in the eyes of Elohim and men. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Know him in all your ways, and he makes all paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahweh and turn away from evil. It is healing to your navel and a moistening to your bones. Esteem Yahweh with your goods, and with the first fruits of your increase, and the storehouses shall be filled with plenty, and your vats overflow with new wine. O my son, do not despise the discipline of Yahweh, and do not loathe his reproof, for whom Yahweh loves he reproves, as a father the son whom he delights in. Blessed is the man who is found in wisdom, for the man who gets understanding from the gain from it is better than gain from silver, and its increase than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all your delights are not comparable to her. Length of days is in her right hand, riches and esteem in her left hand. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are of shalom. She is a tree of life to those taking hold of her, and blessed are all who retain her. Yahweh founded the heaven earth by wisdom. He established the heavens by understanding, and his knowledge at the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Watch over sound wisdom and discretion. Then they become life to your being, and adorning to your neck. Then you will walk safety in your ways, and your foot would not stumble. When you lie down, you need not be afraid, and you shall lie down, and your sleep shall be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden dread, nor of the ruin of the wrong when it comes. For Yahweh is at your side, and he shall guard your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, go, and come back, and tomorrow I give it, when you have it with you today. Do not plan evil against your neighbor. Seeing he dwells safely beside you, do not strive with a man without cause. If he has done you no evil, do not envy a cruel man, and choose none of his ways. For the perverse one is an abomination to Yahweh, and his secret counsel is with the straight. The curse of Yahweh is on the house of the wrong, the crooked. But he blesses the home of the righteous, Sadak. He certainly scoffs at scoffers, but gives favor to the humble. The wise do inherit esteem, but fools are bearing away shame. Children, listen to the discipline of a father, and give attention to no understanding, for I give you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah, for I was my father's son, tender, and the only one of the eyes of my mother. Then he taught me, and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words. Guard my commands, and live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not leave her, and let her guard you. Love her, and let her watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is get wisdom, and with all get understanding. Exalt her, and let her uplift you. She brings you esteem when you embrace her. She gives your head a fair wreath. She shields you with an adorning crown. Hear, my son, Shema. Hear, my son, and accept my words, and let the years of your life be many. And I have taught you in the ways of wisdom. I have led you in straight paths. When you walk, your steps shall not be hindered. And if you run, you shall not stumble. Become strong in discipline. Do not let go. Watch over her, for she is your life. Do not enter the path of the wrong, and do not walk in the ways of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not pass by it. Turn away from it, and pass on. For they do not sleep unless they have done evil, and their sleep is taken away unless they make someone fall. And for they have eaten the bread of wrongdoing, and they drink the wine of violence. But the path of righteousness is like the light of dawn. that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. The way of the wrong is like the darkness. They that do not know at what they stumble. My son, listen to my words, incline your ears to my sayings. Let them not depart from your ears. Guard them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing it all their flesh. Watch over your hearts with all diligence, for out of it are the sources of life. Turn away from a crooked mouth, and put perverse lips far from you. Let your eyes look forward, and your eyelids look straight before you. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil.
Hi, good morning. We're looking at the book of Proverbs, and this is what the father said. In chapter 5, it says, "My son, listen to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, so as to watch over discretion, and your lips guard knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lay hold of Sheol. She does not consider the path of life, nor her ways are unstable. You do not know it. So now listen to me, you children, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not come near the door of her house, lest you give your splendors to others, and your years to one who is cruel. Lest strangers be filled with your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. Then you shall howl in your latter end, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and shall say, How have I hated discipline, and my heart has despised reproof. And I have not heeded the voice of my teachers, and I have not inclined my ears to those who have instructed me. In a little while I was in all evil, in the midst of an assembly and in a congregation. Drink water from your own cisterns, and running water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, rivers of water in the streets, let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth, a loving deer and a pleasant toe. Let her nibble satisfy you at all times, and be captivated by her love always. For why should you, my son, be captivated by a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a foreigner? For the ways of a man are before the eyes of Yahweh, and he considers all his paths. The wrong one is entrapped in his own crookedness, and he is caught in the cords of his own sin. He dies for a lack of discipline, and in the greatness of his folly he goes astray.